Hi guys, it's Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. Some of you guys would know that I'm a bit of a flea market and vergeside junk scrounger. So I picked up this Malleys Esky, as we would say in Australia, from the 1960s. Still got the box. Box is in a bit sad shape, but it's pretty cool. And I've had it before on some of my videos when I'm doing cooler reviews, that why are we calling them Eskies? And in Australia it's become the generic term. Okay, so a bit of history for you. In 1884, Francis Malley started a sheet metal company in Sydney in Australia, and he started producing Eskimo ice boxes. And in Australia we shorten everything, so they became known as an Esky. Now for my mates across the ditch in New Zealand, you guys refer to them as chili bins. They've got nothing to do with Mexican food. So in 1952 he produced an auto ice box. Then in 1955 they made a smaller one. So putting it in context, when I came to Australia in 1968, in Western Australia we had one licensed restaurant. So everything else was BYO. So everyone was carrying these small coolers around. Okay. 1960 though, he made a claim that 500,000 homes in Australia had an Esky. So there's only 4 million homes in Australia, so it's a big claim. In 1961 he registered and trademarked it, and in 1984 Nylex took over making them, basically in plastics. Now the Nylex one was one I modded a few years ago, and it didn't insulate particularly well. Okay, so they claimed in 84 that it was lighter and better insulated than the predecessors of these guys. So I might test that. Now I had one of these on my first round Australia trip in the early 1980s, and it was a different model to this, but first we'll have a look at this one, and we'll go from there. So the original models, the Eskimo on the box here was saying, I think, "Cool man cool," whereas this one, I'm dating this one from the mid-60s. Yeah, take the party with you. New look, more streamlined. Okay guys, pretty good order for a cooler that's probably 50 years old, at least. So this one here has a bottle opener. Now most of the beer that was being drunk in Australia was in 700ml long neck bottles. Okay, so this is tall enough to accommodate those. The one I had a different bottle opener. It was external. I'll see if I can find a picture of one. And a metal bung, which mine was solid. I couldn't get it out. So by the early 60s it obviously swapped over. Now the trademark on the box there came out in 1961. It ran through to 86. So I know this one's in the 60s range. Simple metal bale handle. Clamps on the top. Pretty solid. Sheet metal lid. I'm not know what the insulation is inside, whether it's styrene, and I'm sure some of the early ones were fiberglass insulation wool. So I don't know what's inside this one. And the earlier ones had a rubber seal in the lid, and it's a pretty mean fit, this lid. So this one's got a seal on the Esky and no seal on the lid. Still solid inside, galvanised. So a pretty simple beast, but pretty cool, I think. I really do. I think she's a pretty cool beast. So I might load it up with a few drinks and a bag of ice, and I'll do a test. The Nylex ones that replaced it in the early 80s, that was similar size, they're sort of a day and a bit, and I think from memory, I'll see if I can find the video file, when I modded it and filled it with more insulation, I got it up to 2 and a bit days. So I'll see how this goes straight out of the box. But it's a pretty cool piece of social history here in Australia, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing it. Okay guys, I've taken half a dozen drinks out of the fridge at home. I popped down to my local supermarket and bought a 5 kilo bag of ices. It was just easy that way. So there's been no pre-chill in the cooler or any high-tech stuff like that. So where I've got it sitting here on the back patio, it'll be in full sun for about 4 or 5 hours a day, and then it'll be pretty warm on this patio. So we've got another day in the mid-30s on the way, and at the moment it's reasonably cool. So it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. So the camera's getting that. There she is on the inside. I'll just throw the bag of ice on the ground to help it crush down a bit. So I looked at the footage from the one that replaced this style, and sunshine shone straight through it. So having the sun see your drink's never a good thing. Anyway, I'll cut back tomorrow and see how it's going. Okay guys, it's been 24 hours on the vintage cooler. So we filled it up with ice and drinks yesterday. And ooh, have we had significant melting. That's a lot more melting than I expected. So, not performing as well as I thought. Or maybe it's a harsh comparison. Anyway, we'll come back tomorrow and see. Okay guys, it's about an hour short of 2 days. So, a little bit of ice left. Virtually nothing. So about what I remember from the 80s. I was buying ice every second or third day. It's still a pretty solid performance in the days prior to the super coolers. Anyway guys, if this content helps you out, helps you make good decisions, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time.